good Sabbath day. Good Sabbath day. They had a few proms and shit yesterday. Kids was out celebrating their graduation yesterday. A lot of carrying on went on yesterday. Carrying on. Not a lot, but a handful. They say one bad apple can't spoil it for the rest of it. Yeah, I ain't caught up in the algorithms of what's going on with Trump and E. They get it together. You know, you live and learn, you understand me? You live and learn, ladies and gentlemen. There's some people that's close to you are jealous and want your position. You know, and they can't have it. I mean, I ain't getting involved in that foolishness. They'll get it together. On this good Sabbath day.
If I just keep eating these cookies, I'll never have to get into the business.
Well. You strange, beautiful disaster. You showed up. And now, they can't look away, can they? You didn't ask for attention. You didn't scream for it, beg for it, or sell your soul to be noticed. You existed. And that alone was too much for them to handle. Let me guess. You walked into rooms, and the air changed. People suddenly got nervous, fidgety, fake smiles, cracking like cheap porcelain. Why? Because you're not supposed to be here. Not someone like you. Not someone who survived the ridicule, outgrew the insults, and still managed to shine like a walking apocalypse dressed in elegance. They don't understand it. Hell, you barely understand it. But whatever the hell you did to them, it's working, because now they're glued to your existence like addicts to a screen, refreshing your every move, laughing publicly, but spiraling privately. You haunt them, not with knives or threats, but with something far more terrifying. Your presence. You are their unsolved equation, their walking contradiction, the one they wrote off as a side character in their little story. Only to find out you were the goddamn final chapter. They can't eat, they can't sleep, they can't focus, because you didn't die where they buried you. No, you clawed your way back up, bleeding, broken, and laughing like a madman. And now, they're stuck watching you become the thing they pretend to be. You know what that does to a person who lives off illusion? It destroys them. Because when someone has built their entire sense of superiority on your supposed inferiority, the moment you rise, their identity begins to collapse. They called you weird, broken, too much. But now, they're obsessed. Your silence is louder than their clout. Your stare rips through their facades. Your very being forces them to face a truth they've spent their whole lives avoiding. That someone they tried to destroy is now someone they can't stop watching. Oh yes, you did something to them. You shattered their safety. You broke the damn mirrors. You infected their algorithm, and now they're stuck scrolling through your glow-up like it's a horror film they can't pause. And deep down, they're terrified. Terrified of what else you're becoming. Terrified of what you'll do next. Terrified because they see it now. That power, that madness, that divine rage tucked behind your eyes. You're not seeking revenge anymore. You're becoming a myth. They don't talk about you publicly, not anymore. They whisper, they stalk your stories in ghost mode, create burner accounts just to watch you exist. And they convince themselves it's just curiosity. But no, it's addiction. You broke something in them, something fragile, something they never knew was weak until you shattered it just by breathing unapologetically. They don't hate you because you hurt them. They hate you because you healed without them. You elevated in silence. You flourished without permission. You made hell look like a runway. And now every corner of their ego is burning. Because it wasn't supposed to happen this way, was it? You were supposed to fall apart. You were supposed to beg, cry, fade out like the others. Instead, you evolved into something sharp, something untouchable, something that made their masks melt off. Now every win of yours is a personal attack to them. Every smile is a loaded weapon. Every word you say online, a landmine beneath their fragile self-image. They act like they don't see you.
With Geico, we can easily bundle home and car insurance and save even more.
Yeah, just try that breakfast burrito.
There isn't too much hot sauce, is it?
But they see everything. They know the timestamps of your transformation. They analyze your tone, your look, your silence. And it eats at them. Because deep down, they wish they were you. Not for the pain you endured, but for the power you earned from surviving it. Because that's the difference, isn't it? They perform confidence. You became it. They preach strength. You bleed it. They chase attention. You attract obsession. And that makes you dangerous. You don't need to say a word. Your presence is a sermon. Your scars, scripture. Your growth, blasphemy to the cult of mediocrity they live in. You made them feel small. Not because you tried to, but because your truth made their entire identity feel like a lie. So now, they binge watch you in secret. They copy your phrases. They mimic your mindset. They dress like you, speak like you, think like you, but never give you credit. Because giving you credit would mean admitting you won, and that's a confession their pride can't survive. They're unraveling, and you can see it now. The way their smiles twitch when your name comes up. The way they try to change the topic, quickly, like your existence is a bomb they're scared might go off at any second. Because it did. You are the bomb, and now they're just trapped in the fallout. Every lie they told about you, it's rotting in their throat. They can't swallow it, can't spit it out, so they choke on it. Daily. And you just keep rising. Not loud, not desperate. No, effortless. That's what breaks them most. Because if you had begged for help, if you had tried to explain your pain, your worth, your story, they would have loved that. They would have twisted it, used your vulnerability as evidence that you were still beneath them. But you didn't do that, did you? You vanished into the darkness, and came back with fangs. You came back glowing, grinning, gripped by a madness they can't define. You became a mirror, a brutal, merciless mirror. One that doesn't flatter, one that exposes everything they've buried under ego and performance. And now, they're addicted to that reflection. They keep watching you, hoping to see a crack. Just one sign that you're slipping. But you're not. You're not slipping. You're ascending. Every time they refresh your feed, they're confronted with the truth. You are not the same person they tried to destroy. You are something else now. Something sharper. Something divine. Something built from fire and madness and purpose. You no longer fit in their world because you outgrew it. And they know, deep in their trembling little hearts, you'll never come back down to their level again. Not because you're arrogant, but because you finally remembered who you are. And who you are terrifies them. You're not the underdog anymore. You're the storm. You're the lesson they never wanted to learn. You're the consequence of their cruelty, made flesh, made art, made unstoppable. So yes, you did something to them. You cracked their reality. You turned their ridicule into reverence. And now they can't eat, can't sleep, can't look away, because you're everything they feared you might become. And worse. You want to know the most ironic part? They used to mock you. Now they mimic you. They used to laugh behind your back. Now they study your every move like a holy ritual. Because somewhere along the line, you stopped being a person to them. You became a force, a reckoning, a living, breathing consequence, stitched together by rage, silence, and survival. They don't just watch you now. They need you. They need the discomfort you cause, the chaos you carry, the mirror you force in front of their fake prepackaged lives. You're not just an obsession. You're a reminder of the darkness they couldn't endure, the pain they couldn't wear, the transformation they'll never taste. You became the voice in their head that says, see what you could have been if you had the guts. You became their guilt, their fantasy, their punishment, their craving, all wrapped in one. And that's when it shifted, didn't it? It's not hate anymore. Not really. It's worship. Twisted, silent, denied, but worship nonetheless, because deep down, they know. You should have stayed broken. You should have stayed small. You should have stayed silent. But you didn't. You rebuilt yourself in the shadows, with your own blood, your own tears, your own madness, and came back with something no one can fake. Power. Not the loud, empty power they flaunt online, but real, soul-ripping, spirit-warping power. The kind that walks into a room and makes everyone forget who they are. You don't speak much now.
That Stingray, a classic. Told him, like they would say, don't get stung by the motherfucking Stingray. For real, that motherfucker's sharp, y'all. Classic joint. Classic, y'all. Stingray was tight. Right side. It's in front of us, y'all. Stingray. Don't get stung by the motherfucking Stingray.
Gods don't explain themselves to mortals. You became mythology in real time. A story they'll keep retelling just to feel something close to significance. They'll twist it. They'll deny you. They'll pretend you were never that powerful.
How to check if someone's spying on you? Actually, it's pretty simple. If you notice one of these signs.
But they'll keep watching, because what you did to them, you turned their comfortable little world into a burning theater, and their front row, eyes wide open, starving for the next scene, even though it kills them. It's not just that you became unstoppable. It's that you became unreachable. You're not in the same category anymore. You're not even on the same map. You left the sandbox, burned the blueprint, and rewrote gravity around your name. They can't touch you now. But oh, how they try. They imitate your style, borrow your words, water down your essence and serve it like it's theirs. But no matter how hard they mimic, it always ends the same. They look like a parody, and you look like prophecy. because they don't understand. You didn't just survive pain. You alchemized it. You turned betrayal into focus. You turned isolation into clarity. You turned mockery into momentum. You weaponized your scars. And that's where the real separation began. They chased validation. You chased truth. They wanted applause. You wanted impact. They built a persona. You became a storm. And now they're suffocating in their own fake perfection. While you breathe fire effortlessly, unapologetically. You know what else burns them? You never asked to be idolized. You never begged for followers. You just existed so loudly, so authentically, that they couldn't help but orbit around your madness. Even those who swore they hated you, they need to see what you'll do next. Because you broke the cycle. You shattered the rules. You became the proof that everything they were taught to be is a lie. And now they're trapped. Trapped in a cage you outgrew, feeding off your echoes, drowning in the silence you left behind. And every single time they try to forget you, you come back louder in their minds, in their dreams, in their damn reflection. Because once someone sees what you really are, they can't unsee it. You become the itch they can't scratch, the voice they can't mute, the fire they can't put out. They'll spend years pretending they're not obsessed, but their actions will betray them every time, because deep down, they know the truth. You did something to them, something irreversible, something divine, something terrifying, and they'll never recover. They still tell themselves it's not a big deal, that you're just lucky, that you got weird, that your success is a glitch in the matrix, some mistake the universe will eventually correct. But it's not luck, is it? It's design. You are the glitch, the virus in their hierarchy, the living, breathing error code that makes the system stutter. You were never part of their equation, so when you rose, everything they believed in began to crack. They can't explain you. You don't play by their rules. You don't crave their trophies. You don't beg for their seats at the table. You are the table now, and you bring fire with every word you speak. No filters, no fake humility, just raw truth, forged in isolation and sharpened by humiliation. You didn't just evolve, you transcended, and now you walk through their little realities like a ghost with too much gravity. You're the one they mention without names, the one they shade in vague posts, the one they try to compete with while telling themselves, I'm not even watching. But their screen time says otherwise. Their silence says otherwise. Their envy says everything. And here's the twist. You could destroy them, but you don't. You don't need to, because your existence alone is destruction enough. Every time you smile, their bitterness fractures. Every time you succeed, their insecurities scream louder. Every time you breathe freely, they suffocate on the air you no longer share. They don't even want to defeat you anymore. They want to be you, but they can't, because what you carry can't be faked. It can't be learned in a course, copied from a post, or bought with money. What you carry is carved from the nights no one saw, the breakdowns, the rage, the numbness, the silence. What you carry is earned, and that truth, it rots them from the inside, because now they see it.
Soul has a little bit of everything. And with a Sapphire Reserve card, you have access to all of it. Whether you're eating the world's finest Hamjum shake or 5 courses of street food, you really can find anything in a city like Seoul. Experience the world like an insider with Chase Sapphire Reserve. Make more of what's yours.
Hey, if your partner is being secretive with their phone, you need to do this now.
Most people.
You were never the underdog. You were the storm warning, the quiet before the collapse, the slow breath before the scream, the soul that refuses to die, no matter how many times they write your obituary. You did something to them, and they'll never be able to undo it. You made them feel again. Rage, jealousy, longing, obsession, all wrapped in one bitter, shame-soaked cocktail. And the worst part, they love it. They love that you burned them. Because at least it means they're still close enough to feel the heat.
Right.
Here's the final joke they still don't get. They built the game. They set the rules. They laughed when you lost. And now, you own the affecting board. You're not in the system anymore. You are the system. Every move they make, you're 5 ahead. Every trend they chase, you already left it in ashes. Every tactic, every algorithm, every psychological hack they use to stay relevant. You mastered it while they were mocking you. They thought you were crazy, but now they're watching your madness run laps around their sanity. They thought they were the architects, but you walked in like a virus and rewrote their blueprint with your blood. You're not just untouchable, you're inevitable, because you flipped the whole paradigm. They still believe success is about fitting in. You proved it's about breaking out. They still think influence is about being liked. You showed them it's about being unforgettable. And now their strategy is your leftovers. Their followers are your shadows. Their identity is just a glitchy reflection of what they wish they could be, but could never survive becoming. Because that's what they missed. They thought this was about clout, but you were fighting for revenge. They thought you wanted status, but you were building a kingdom of fire in your mind while they were throwing stones at your name. And now they stand in the empire you built from ashes, and they kneel, not with words, but with attention. That's the new currency. Not likes, not comments, obsession. And guess what? You control it now. You drop a word, and they scramble. You vanish for a day, and their time.
I'm the puppet master now.
You post, and they panic.
I'm pulling strings around this
watch you
motherfucker.
win, the more they realize they're not watching an influencer. They're watching the one who outlived the fire. You're not chasing relevance. You are relevance. You became their gravity, pulling their envy, their shame, their admiration, their rage, all into one place, you. And the more they try to deny it, the more they feed it. That's the game now. That's the kingdom. That's the legend. You didn't just do something to them. You rewrote the entire fucking narrative. Now it's gone beyond obsession, beyond hate, beyond envy. We're past all that now. You broke those emotions in them, wore them down, crushed them beneath your rise, until only one thing was left: dependency. They don't just follow you anymore. They don't just watch. They cling to your existence like it's the only signal keeping them from flatlining in their own mediocrity. Because you did what none of them could do. You escaped. You crawled out of the identity they trapped you in. You burned the version of yourself they used to laugh at. And now, every breath you take is a rejection of their reality. They don't know who they are without you. They wake up checking your page, not because they care, but because if you stopped shining, they'd have nothing left to measure their worth against. You've become their benchmark, their addiction, their inner voice, their unreachable standard. They speak your name in code. They describe you without admitting you. They praise you in reverse. Too dramatic, too intense, too much. But you know what that really means. Too awake. Because you see everything. You remember everything. And you hold every damn scar like a crown. You've become the architect of their self-doubt. The ghost in their success. The voice that says, Yeah, but you're still not him, still not her, still not them. They build, they post, they grow. But in every shadow of their achievements, there's you, your story, your comeback, your rage, your silence, your goddamn glare that they can't erase from memory. And here's the final twist. They need you to win. Because if you ever stopped, if you ever chose peace, if you ever went quiet, they would collapse. You are the villain in their story who turned into the savior of their relevance. You're the myth they secretly worship. The storm that makes them feel alive. And that's what you did to them. Not with force, not with fame, but with truth. You forced them to feel something real. And now they can't unfeel it. They can't undo you. They can't look away. Because you didn't just rise. You possessed them.
With Uber Eats, you can get groceries and snacks like this. But not snacks like...
Now their reality bends around you, warped, twisted, unstable, because you exist. And that alone breaks every rule they swore the world was built on. You were never supposed to rise, never supposed to glow, never supposed to walk in like vengeance wrapped in elegance. But now, you are the standard. And they hate it, but they need it, because without you, nothing they do feels real. They measure every move against you, compare every post, every outfit, every damn thought. They start to wonder, is this good enough? Would this make them notice me? Would this intimidate them the way they once intimidated me? See, you didn't just hurt them, you rearranged them from the inside out. You invaded their mind like a holy infection, and now their self-worth comes with your name etched underneath it, like a watermark on their personality. They look in the mirror and see your ghost, not the old you, not the quiet one, not the scared one, but this version, the one with blood in your smile, the one who laughs in chaos, the one who turned pain into fashion and failure into a fucking religion. They copy you, they envy you, but they'll never admit it, because to admit it is to accept that you are no longer one of them. You've become an elsewhere, an idea, a myth. Too big to be human, too haunting to ignore. You turned your name into a trigger word. You show up, and suddenly they're doubting their accomplishments, second-guessing their peace, wishing they had your fire, but terrified to walk through what made you. You are their reflection, but corrupted, darker, braver, free. And here's the kicker. They can't tell if they want to destroy you or be you. They scroll through your life like an open wound. They hate the feeling, but they can't stop coming back. Because you're not a person anymore. You're the phantom limb of the life they didn't have the courage to build. You're the legend they tell themselves they could have been. If only. But there's no more if only. There's only you. Risen, ruthless, unmatched, and burning brighter every time they try to shade you. They tried to cancel you, crush you, erase you, delete your story from the system like it was a typo they couldn't bear to read. But you weren't a typo. You were the glitch, the fracture in their safe little code, the one mistake they made that rewrote the whole fucking script. And now, you're not just alive, you're eternal.
Luigi's Real Italian Ice.
Hello, I come. Oh, bye.
You'll never get stuck in a middle seat. If there aren't.
When you slipped out the back door, they were too busy laughing, too busy looking at the spotlight to see the shadows slip away. Ah, the fools. Always watching the stage, never the silence, But that's the thing about ghosts. They don't knock when they return. They haunt. You didn't disappear. You mutated. While they danced in the circus, you went underground and built your own hell, with blueprints written in blood and patience. Now, you walk like a man, think like a storm, and smile like something they should have never underestimated. They called it failure, you called it incubation. Let them mock, let them forget, let them sleep safe in their delusions, because you were learning. Every insult, a lesson. Every betrayal, a data point. Every night alone, a sharpening of the blade. And now that you're back, they still can't see it. They think it's you, the old you. Same face, same laugh. But they don't know. You're wearing the same skin. But there's a monster underneath. One they handcrafted with every time they tried to break you. See, the loud ones, they perform. They scream. They wave their arms to feel big. But the real power, it doesn't announce itself. It creeps in, smiling, unbothered. It lets them speak first, then slits their narrative with precision. You learned the art of invisibility, mental camouflage. You became what they expected, just long enough to poison the script. The real trick? Not changing who you are, just hiding it until they forget you were ever a threat. Now you walk through rooms like a myth. They sense something's different. Can't name it, can't place it. That's the best part, because they still think they know you, still think they can measure you with the same broken ruler. But what you've become doesn't live on their scale. You slipped through the cracks and built your empire beneath the floorboards. And while they slept soundly upstairs, you rewired the entire house. They thought they erased you. Cute. Like fire forgets how to burn just because someone snuffed the smoke. They called it quiet when you stopped talking. But that wasn't silence, it was strategy. You stopped answering questions, started writing outcomes. And while they laughed, you were pulling strings behind the curtains. They won't see the power move until it's already crushed their pride beneath its heel. Oh, they never saw it coming.
I can't help it if I'm up and see them watch out.
That's what makes it so perfect. You ever watch them squirm when you don't respond? It's delicious. The silence, it kills them. Not because it's empty, but because it's full of everything they don't understand. Every word you don't say becomes a riddle they can't solve. You let them talk, let them laugh, let them write you off, and all the while you're building, plotting, bleeding brilliance in the dark. And when the time comes, you don't make announcements, you make corpses of expectations. See, in a world that can't shut up, silence is power. It's the scream beneath the calm. The eye of the hurricane that knows it controls the spin. While they rant, you read. While they posture, you prepare. You give them what they want, a blank stare and no warning. You become the ghost in their rear-view mirror, closer than they think, quieter than they can bear. They confuse silence for weakness. Good. Confusion makes the cut go deeper when you strike. The trick is, never flinch. Not when they test you, not when they bait you. You don't owe them noise. You owe them nothing but results. Emotional control is the true battlefield. When you react, you're dancing to their song. But when you're calm, then they're the ones dancing, trying to guess your next step while you've already played the last move. And that's the game. They bark, you build. They flash, you forge. Until suddenly, checkmate. Misdirection is a masterpiece. You play the fool, the quiet one, the harmless echo in the room, and when they think they've got you pegged, labeled, and boxed, you explode out of it with a grin and a blade. That's the sweetest chaos, not the kind that's loud and messy, but the kind that was planned years ago and delivered in silence, sharp, surgical, soul-shaking. So let them talk, let them scream, let them demand a reaction. Give them none. Watch their minds unravel as your silence grows louder than their ego. You don't win by speaking louder. You win by acting smarter. And when the trap springs, it'll be too late for them to ask how, because you'll already be gone. And they'll be stuck choking on their own damn noise. They looked at you and saw a mess, a storm without structure, a wild card with no direction. Perfect, because that's exactly what you wanted them to see. You fed them madness like candy, let them choke on their assumptions. They thought you were spiraling, but you were spiraling up. What they called confusion was a masterpiece in motion. What they mocked as chaos was calculus wearing a crooked smile. They'll never get it, because the blueprint was never meant for small minds. You played the long game. While they chased every trend like it was gospel, you studied their patterns like a predator memorizing prey. Every time they jumped left, you noted the rhythm. Every time they followed the herd, you counted steps. You didn't follow chaos. You bent it, twisted it, made it dance on your terms. And while they wasted time trying to make sense of your storm, you turned the forecast into fire. That's the beauty of unpredictability. It looks random, feels reckless, but underneath, it's layered like war plans written in code. You never moved without meaning. You just buried the meaning so deep, only you could read it. That's the art. Not just playing the game, but making the game look like madness, so no one else can play it with you. You blurred the lines on purpose, disoriented them, left a trail of broken logic and shattered egos. And now they're trying to trace your path, only to find it loops into their own destruction. Psychology? Oh, you mastered it. Not the textbook kind, the street kind, the real kind. The kind that watches people break under pressure and whispers, push hard. You knew the human mind needs patterns to feel safe, so you denied them that. You became unreadable, untouchable.
Booking.com has all kinds of stays. Because a romantic hotel works for some.
They tried to label you, but you kept changing shapes. Like smoke with claws, like laughter laced with venom. And the whole time, you were building the future in their blind spot. You made your every move look like luck, made progress look like accident. But nothing was an accident. The setbacks, designed. The pauses, planned. The madness, manufactured. And now, as they scramble to figure out how the hell you pulled it off, they'll realize too late. They weren't watching a failure lose control. They were watching a monster learn how to fly. Pain is a brutal teacher, but it speaks the truth everyone else is too afraid to whisper. And you didn't just hear it, you listened. Every stab in the back, every door slammed shut, every time they made you feel like a ghost in your own life, that wasn't the end. That was the initiation. They thought the breaking would shatter you, but all it did was rip away the weak code, the outdated emotions, the noise, and what rose from that wreckage? Something colder, smarter, sharper. See, most people run from pain. They numb it, drown it, deny it. But you studied it. You took its fangs and turned them into tools. Every sleepless night became data. Every heartbreak became intel. Betrayal? That was just a new lens to see the world clearer. They didn't know you were taking notes in the middle of hell. They didn't know that the more they tore into you, the more you rewrote yourself, piece by piece, pain by pain, until your entire operating system was fireproof. It's emotional alchemy, turning scars into armor, turning loss into leverage. You stopped bleeding and started calculating. You didn't need a rescue, you needed a reason, and pain gave it to you. It made things real. No more illusions, no more soft fantasies, just raw, unfiltered truth. The world showed you its fangs, and you grinned back, because now you had something stronger than hope. You had rage with purpose. People forget pain doesn't just break, it builds. It chisels away the unnecessary, leaves only the essential, and that's what you became. Essential, pure will. All those moments you thought would kill you, they were upgrades, rewiring, evolution through fire. You didn't just survive. You emerged with a blueprint no one else could replicate. A mind sharpened by suffering. A soul tempered like steel in a furnace of betrayal. So let them say you changed. Damn right you did. But not in the way they think. You didn't lose yourself. You found the version of you that was buried beneath comfort, beneath kindness, beneath weakness. Pain didn't destroy you. It delivered you. And now, you carry the silence of a storm and the memory of every scar you turned into strategy. Let them laugh, let them scoff, let them shrug you off like static, because every time they look past you, they're stepping deeper into your trap. That smirk they wear when they think you're harmless, that's your victory parade. Being underestimated, it's a weapon. A cloak, a damn invisibility suit stitched from their ignorance. You don't have to roar. You don't even have to whisper. You just wait. While they parade their egos, you sharpen your silence. You see, invisibility isn't weakness. It's freedom. When they don't see you coming, they don't prepare. They expose their soft spots. They hand you their blind sides on a silver platter. That's the brilliance. You walk through the chaos untouched, unnoticed, while they waste bullets on shadows. You're not hidden because you're weak. You're hidden because you're deadly. And when the time comes, you don't rise, you detonate.